A gas station worker in Vermont made a disturbing discovery last month. The homeless man asking for spare change was Randy Quaid, the actor who once earned millions. Photos taken secretly show him sleeping in a van filled with empty bottles and conspiracy theories written on napkins. His wife Evie left him. His money disappeared. And according to witnesses, he talks to himself about people trying to kill him. The most shocking part? Randy says this was always the plan. What he means will terrify you. Randy Quaid entered the world on October 1st, 1950 in Houston, and nothing about his early life hinted at Hollywood. His mother sold real estate. His father fixed wires and breakers for a living. Their home in Bel Air sat in a quiet corner of southwest Houston, where kids rode bikes through heat that never lifted. His family carried English, Scots-Irish, and Cajun roots, and tucked somewhere in that family tree was a distant link to Gene Autry. Still, their life stayed simple. Money was tight, and the dreams around the house were mostly small ones. Yet Randy kept noticing how his dad lit up whenever movies came on. His father called himself a frustrated actor, and Randy felt something stir each time he heard it. That feeling stayed with him even before he knew what to do with it. Everything shifted in high school. One day he took a drama class only to fill a space on his schedule. He walked in thinking it would be easy. Then a few sessions passed, and something cracked open. He felt the rush of stepping into someone else's skin and the strange calm that followed. Soon, he realized he wanted more. It surprised him because no one in his world expected a boy from a Houston suburb to chase acting. But once he tasted that first bit of applause, he understood what he wanted. Those early plays at Bel Air High gave him confidence and a new direction that grew stronger with each small part he performed. By the late 1960s, he enrolled at the University of Houston to study drama. He wanted real training, and he wanted to see how far that spark could take him. A teacher there saw something in him and told him to audition for Peter Bogdanovich. The director was hunting for fresh faces for a new film called The Last Picture Show. Randy went to the audition in 1970 and shocked himself by landing a major role. It happened barely a year after he started college. Suddenly, he stood inside a door he never imagined would open. That one moment connected him with major names and set his life moving faster than he could understand. The Last Picture Show premiered in 1971 and turned into a storm. Audiences loved it. Critics loved it. 8 Oscar nominations followed, and 2 wins came out of them. Randy, only 20, found himself praised for the raw honesty he brought to the screen. His own Houston upbringing matched the world in the film, and people felt that. Overnight, he became one of the young actors everyone wanted, and soon he stepped into movies like The Last Detail in 1973, which earned him an Academy Award nomination. He had not even expected to leave Texas so quickly, yet by 22, he was standing shoulder to shoulder with Hollywood giants. As his career grew, he entered films that kept stretching him. He took another version of his Last Picture Show break in 1971 when he played Lester Marlowe, a quirky and awkward teen in a Texas town frozen in the 1950s. The film was shot in Archer City on a small $1.3 million budget. No one expected it to hit as big as it did, but it earned $29 million worldwide and turned Randy, then 21, into a standout among actors like Jeff Bridges and Timothy Bottoms. Bogdanovich admired how Randy could blend funny and sad in the same breath. That gift followed him into What's Up, Doc in 1972, and Paper Moon in 1973, and kept proving he could shift into any tone a story needed. By 1978, he took on something darker in Midnight Express. He played Jimmy Booth, an American prisoner trapped in a brutal Turkish jail. The film told the real story of Billy Hayes, who had been caught smuggling hash. Randy's character landed in that nightmare after stealing a candlestick from a temple and receiving a 7-year sentence. It was a small detail in summaries, but huge in the film's message. Midnight Express was banned in Turkey until 1992 and still managed to earn $35 million at the box office. Randy's quiet intensity added weight to the film's most painful moments. When the movie won 2 Oscars, Randy's reputation for handling serious roles grew even stronger. Then came a leap into history. In 1987, he played Lyndon B. Johnson in LBJ, The Early Years. He threw himself into the role and transformed so completely that critics said he became the president. The 3-hour film traced Johnson's long climb from Texas congressman to the White House, including the push for the Civil Rights Act of 1960. Randy won a Golden Globe for the performance and earned an Emmy nomination. It marked one of the highest points of his career and proved he could anchor a story built on real events and emotional weight. His earlier Oscar moment from The Last Detail also stayed an important part of his journey. In 1973, at only 22, he earned a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. He played Larry Meadows, a young Navy sailor being escorted to prison. Jack Nicholson starred beside him, yet Randy held his own with a performance that critics described as naive and real. The film itself earned 4 Academy Award nominations. Randy added a BAFTA and Golden Globe nomination to the list, cementing himself as one of the strongest actors of the decade. Alongside these major films, he built a second path in indie movies and prestige stories. Critics said he had a rare ability to disappear into strange or broken characters. In 1987, he earned a Vancouver Film Critics Circle Award for Real Time. Years later, he played rancher Joe Aguirre in Brokeback Mountain in 2005 and gave a performance people still talk about. He stepped into Goya's Ghosts in 2006 as King Carlos and brought depth to a role that might have seemed distant on the page. Even in animation like Home on the Range in 2004, he managed to make audiences believe in the character. Directors knew he could shift between humor and pain with ease, and that made him one of the most respected character actors of his era. Then came Cousin Eddie in 1983. National Lampoon's Vacation needed someone who could make people laugh and also feel something underneath the chaos. Harold Ramis noticed Randy's earlier work and realized he was perfect. Randy was not the first name on the list, but he became the final choice because he could blend physical comedy with a touch of heart. When Eddie's RV rolled into the Griswold driveway for the first time, the character clicked instantly. The film, released on July 29, 1983, earned $61.5 million worldwide. Even though Eddie had limited screen time, Randy's performance stole scene after scene. He made the character messy, loud, loyal, and strangely lovable. People wanted more of Eddie, so he returned in Christmas Vacation in 1989, Vegas Vacation in 1997, and in the 2003 TV spin-off Christmas Vacation 2. In Christmas Vacation, he delivered scenes that fans still quote every holiday season. In the 2003 movie, he ended up stranded on a South Pacific island after a workplace disaster. Through all these stories, Eddie became a symbol of blue-collar chaos wrapped in family loyalty. Decades later, reruns and holiday traditions kept him alive. Every year, the same scenes show up online, and Eddie's wild moments find new audiences. A big part of that success came from Randy's connection with Chevy Chase. They improvised together and trusted each other on set. Their timing created moments like the hamburger helper scene that went viral much later. Even with only a few minutes of screen time, Randy's presence left such a mark that he often outshined the lead actor. Still, the fame from Cousin Eddie carried a shadow. Studios kept sending him odd or trashy comic roles, and he found himself fighting typecasting. He wanted to explore serious characters again, so he took parts that challenged him. He earned Emmy nominations for A Streetcar Named Desire in 1984 and Elvis in 2005. He played Russell Cass in Independence Day in 1996 and reminded audiences he could do much more than comedy. His career became a long balancing act between what the audience expected and what he wanted to express. Over time, Cousin Eddie turned into a cultural symbol. His scenes became memes shared every December. Younger viewers who never saw the original films still recognized the character instantly. Holiday rewatches kept him in the spotlight and made him part of a yearly tradition. Some moments from those movies trend online each winter, proving that Eddie's strange charm never really faded. Randy Quaid once felt like the kind of actor who could walk into any scene and pull every eye toward him. It happened again and again. You could see it in 1996 when he played Russell Cass in Independence Day. At first, he looked like a messy crop duster who talked too much about aliens and carried the weight of Vietnam on his back. People laughed at him, but the more he spoke, the more something deeper came through. By the time he flew his small plane into that giant alien ship and shouted that he would not let them down, the whole theater went quiet for a second and then erupted. The movie earned more than $817 million worldwide, and part of that impact came from the way he turned a simple role into a moment that felt heroic. Before that, Randall Rudy Quaid had already become familiar to millions. In the 1980s and 1990s, he showed up in films that stuck in people's minds. Kingpin came out in 1996, and he played Ernie McCracken with so much wild energy that the character stayed with viewers long after the movie ended. Quick Change in 1990 gave him another space to show how chaotic and funny he could be. And of course, there was Cousin Eddie from the National Lampoon's Vacation series, a role that followed him everywhere and locked him in as the lovable oddball of American comedy. Because of these movies, he became a regular part of pop culture, the type of actor people remembered even if they could not recall the rest of the cast. As time moved forward, he shifted between big studio films and smaller, quieter projects. He appeared in serious films like Traffic and Frequency in 2000, and people noticed how steady he was. Then, in 2008, he starred in Real Time, a smaller Canadian film that opened the Slam Dance Film Festival and won him a Vancouver Film Critics Circle Award. He kept proving that he could bring life to any script, whether it came from a massive production or a tiny set with almost no budget. That range helped him avoid being trapped in one type of role. Critics kept praising his timing, his depth, and the way he could take a simple character and give it something extra. For a long stretch, Hollywood trusted him. Directors cast him knowing he could lift even a weak script. Fans loved Cousin Eddie. Critics admired his dramatic work, and the industry respected him enough to give him both an Emmy and an Oscar nomination. People saw him as one of the most dependable supporting actors of the 1980s and 1990s. Even when a film did not shine, he often did. In 2005, he stepped into Brokeback Mountain as Joe Aguirre, a rancher with a rough shell and a cold stare. The cast around him was stacked with talent like Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal, yet Quaid's presence added an important tension. His scenes were brief but strong. Critics pointed out the subtle way he handled the role, helping the film achieve the emotional depth that later earned it major awards, including an Academy Award for Best Director. It was another reminder that even in short moments, he could leave a mark. Then everything began to shift. It started quietly around 2009, when a hotel in Santa Barbara accused Randy and his wife Evie of skipping out on a $10,000 bill. The San Isidro Ranch claimed the couple stayed for weeks and never paid. Authorities tried to charge their credit card and found it already had roughly $73,000 on it. When the Quaids missed a court hearing on October 18, 2010, felony warrants were issued. Evi pleaded no contest, paid a fine, and received probation, along with 240 hours of community service. She insisted the hotel charges were fraudulent, but the damage to their reputation was already spreading. Soon the lawsuits began piling up. Randy accused former lawyers, accountants, and business managers of stealing from him for more than 20 years. In a 2010 court filing, he claimed that a fake trust created in 1983 allowed others to access his money and real estate without his knowledge. He said loan statements had gone missing and that forged documents appeared at City National Bank. When he demanded records, staff reportedly called police. His lawsuit also claimed someone used a forged signature from his life insurance policy to secure loans. He insisted all powers of attorney be revoked and asked for a criminal investigation. It looked like he believed he had been cut off from his own assets for years. During these years, public perception started cracking. Media outlets reported unpaid bills, missed hearings, and increasingly strange behavior. Randy and Evi started talking about Hollywood star whackers, a group they believed was targeting famous people for profit. Once those words hit the news, they never faded. Then came another shock. In September 2010, Randy and Evi were arrested in Santa Barbara after being found living in the guest house of a home they no longer owned. The property had been sold in 2007. The couple claimed they still had rights to it. The new owners disagreed and called police. Authorities reported broken items, including a mirror and damage to the mailbox, scratched with the letters RQ. Fans were stunned. The man who once filled screens with humor and heart was now appearing in stories about trespassing and vandalism. Prosecutors said the damages in the Montecito property totaled more than $5,000. Court records described broken furniture, a damaged fireplace, and the mirror with the scratched initials. Police said the Quaids had moved in without permission and stayed for several weeks. Randy tried to explain that they were being targeted, but the evidence in the house made the case difficult to fight. After the first arrest, they were released on bail, but they missed court again. When they skipped the October 18th hearing, their bail was forfeited and felony bench warrants were issued. Their original bonds were for $50,000 each. After missing court again, the bail was increased to $500,000 each. By that point, they had forfeited more than $1 million in bail. Authorities now saw them as fugitives. The media followed every step. Some stories focused on their odd courtroom behavior. Others focused on Randy's claims about people trying to harm him. Interviews showed the couple becoming more defensive and more emotional. Lawyers tried to explain the situation, but the public had already formed an image that was hard to reverse. Under all this pressure, the Quaids fled California and crossed into Canada in late 2010. They said they feared for their lives and believed powerful Hollywood groups were hunting them. Evi received refugee status because of her dual citizenship. Randy tried to secure residency too, but he faced repeated denials and legal battles. They lived in Montreal for several years, always under some kind of legal cloud. Canada pushed for deportation. The United States pushed for their return. In 2015, they were arrested again while trying to re-enter the country. Randy Quaid's escape to Canada in October 2010 felt like the start of a strange movie that somehow turned real. He and his wife Evi crossed the border saying they needed asylum because a secret group called Hollywood Star Whackers had been after them for years. They said this group had ruined Randy's career, blocked his royalty checks, and even targeted other actors like David Carradine. When Randy sat in the Vancouver immigration office and said the words yes, "We are seeking asylum from Hollywood star whackers," the room froze for a moment, and the story spread everywhere. Canadian officials did not quite believe what they were hearing, but they still released the couple on a $10,000 bond while they reviewed the case. The whole thing sounded unreal, and that is why the media could not stop talking about it. Their trouble did not end there. Canadian border agents found old warrants from the United States tied to vandalism and squatting at a Santa Barbara house Randy and Evi once owned. They had missed several court dates, so the U.S. wanted them back. The hearings went on and on. They checked in with Canadian officials, waited for decisions, and watched their case move slowly through the system. By 2015, their appeals had run out, and Randy was ordered to be deported. When they tried to slip back into the United States through Vermont, authorities arrested them again. Their journey kept looping back into trouble. All this time, Randy and Evi insisted the Hollywood star whackers were real. They said the group had taken 20 years of Randy's work and turned it into chaos. They believed someone had stolen his royalties by blending his name with a fictional woman called Randy Quaid, who supposedly left behind a $7 million estate. Evi searched for her records and found nothing. No school, no body, nothing in real life. She showed Vanity Fair how probate documents listed money, but no trace of a person. They felt hunted by lies and sabotage, not just physical danger. Their story reached people because it was specific and wild at the same time. Randy tried to explain that star whacking meant more than killing someone. It meant taking their name, their reputation, their money, and slowly destroying them. He said rumors could do as much damage as any weapon. Evi added that they felt like someone was pulling strings behind their careers, redirecting checks, spoiling job offers, and pushing them into financial traps. For a while, the media picked up this explanation and turned it into debates about what fame can do to people when the lights start fading. While they stayed in Canada, Randy and Evi leaned into their own legend. They created a show called Star Trackers, where they played a couple on the run from dark industry forces. They gave interviews and shaped themselves like a rebellious pair who would not bow down to anyone. Reporters started calling them a Bonnie and Clyde duo of Hollywood. The line between real life and performance blurred every time they spoke to a camera. Randy's online videos made everything even louder. His meltdown started years earlier with the Broadway show Lone Star Love in 2008. After a fight with the cast, Actors Equity banned him for life and fined him $81,572. In 2009, he and Evi were arrested for defrauding a hotel of $10,000. And in 2010, they were arrested again for entering a California home they no longer owned. By the time he stood in Vancouver and talked about a malignant tumor of star whackers, he had already been sinking for a long while. He named Heath Ledger, David Carradine, and Chris Penn, saying the same forces hunted him too. He said accountants were stealing from him and trying to kill his career. The videos spread everywhere. People watched them in shock, in curiosity, and sometimes in laughter. His reputation kept slipping. Online forums treated him like a symbol of Hollywood madness. Tabloids mocked him. Comment sections filled up with jokes and theories. People discussed his videos on car forums, film boards, and entertainment threads. They tried to figure out if he was a victim, a villain, or just someone who had lost control. Many people stopped taking anything he said seriously. Some believed him, most did not. His distance from collaborators grew fast. After the Lone Star Love incident, all 26 cast members filed a complaint. Studios stepped away. Agents stopped calling. After 2010, he did not land any major roles in film or television. His career faded until only his past remained. He had once been an Academy Award nominee for The Last Detail in 1973. He had played serious parts in Brokeback Mountain. Yet, by the mid-2010s, his name appeared only beside conspiracy theories and court updates. Fans on message boards argued about him. Some said Hollywood had crushed him because he had spoken too loudly. Some said he was simply unraveling. Heated threads stretched on for pages. People posted timelines, articles, and videos. Others mocked him nonstop. His story drifted into the strange space between celebrity and internet folklore. Over time, his public brand shifted from respected actor to walking headline. Before 2010, he had been known for Independence Day and Vacation. After the videos, he became something else. His name showed up in jokes, memes, and late-night monologues. Studios avoided him. Even when he appeared in Canada as a free man, no one in Hollywood tried to bring him back. But he did not disappear forever. He started working again in small indie films. The Dog Who Saved Christmas in 2016. A direct-to-video project called Star Whackers in 2021. These movies did not make noise, but they showed he was trying. The reviews were not kind. The Vancouver Sun called Star Whackers drugged-out dreck. Still, it was movement, and sometimes movement is all someone has left. Then something changed in 2024. Randy landed a role in The Christmas Letter, a 94-minute holiday comedy filmed in central New York. It reunited him with Chevy Chase and Brian Doyle Murray. The Vacation trio back together after so many years. Fans noticed right away. The film premiered on December 2, 2024, and did surprisingly well in regional theaters. People who grew up with Cousin Eddie filled the seats for nostalgia and curiosity. He also returned to the world of fan events. In December 2024, he appeared at Steel City Con in Pittsburgh. The hall was packed. People lined up for autographs and photos. Tickets sold out within hours because Cousin Eddie still had a strange magic that people loved. He went to Fan Expo San Francisco and the National Sports Collectors Convention too. Fans recorded videos of him smiling, signing, talking. The clips reached thousands online. It felt like he was slowly stepping out of the shadows. His social media softened during this time. Instead of rants, he started posting birthday notes, family photos, and warm messages. On his 74th birthday, in December 2024, he thanked fans with a simple post about staying positive and grateful. He went live, answered questions, and talked about old memories. For people who had only seen the chaos, this calmer version felt almost surreal. Industry writers looked back at his work and called him a lost talent. Slash Film and Hollywood Reporter reminded everyone that he had once been brilliant. Some reviews of The Christmas Letter even praised his short scenes, saying he still carried that mix of warmth and absurdity he had in his best days. His fall had been painful to watch, but his gifts had not vanished. Then, in July 2025, another odd twist arrived. Randy bought a house on Randy Lane in Burlington, Vermont, for $280,725. The coincidence made everyone smile. The house was an 864-square-foot ranch built in 1972. Neighbors spotted him on the street with his big white beard and joked that he looked like Papa Smurf. Records confirmed the purchase, and soon after he and Evi shared their plans. They wanted to buy more homes on the same street and create a small green living project. A place that showed how energy-efficient houses could work in real neighborhoods. They started preparing the home for a full renovation. Evi explained that they wanted to make it carbon neutral using pumice concrete and high-tech insulation. They planned to rebuild the kitchen, bathroom, and basement, remove walls, and reshape the space completely. She said her father had been a professor at Middlebury College and had taught her early ideas about energy efficiency from the 1970s. Now, She wanted to mix those ideas with the technology of 2025. They already planted cedar hedges and filed for permits. They wanted a future that felt grounded and useful. Now Randy is in his mid-70s. He appears here and there, not often, just enough for people to remember him. His life has been wild, messy, and full of twists. His net worth in 2025 sits at negative $1 million. That number alone tells you how far he fell, but it does not tell the full story. Because under the headlines, you can see a man trying to rebuild something steady after years of storms. He is not chasing Hollywood anymore. He is planting roots in Vermont, building green projects, talking to fans, and showing up with a calmer voice.